Greetings and salutations, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Game Break. I am Charles, coming to you today with another game by Invert Mouse because I've been having fun with their games so far. This one is Cursed Sight. And the little trailer they had for it in Steam had some kick-ass music and an interesting premise, and I thought, you know what, hey, why not? Let's go for it. Let's see what this one is all about. Growing up poor, I had always watched with envy whenever kids in my neighborhood rode past on rickshaws. Today, I finally got my chance. I just wished the circumstances were a little different. The rickshaw clattered along the gravel path, giving me a headache. Of course, the driver had to make things worse with his off-tune humming. This place might be called Melody Way, but that gave him no right to offend the very essence of music. We're almost there, the driver said without turning to face me. Eyes on the road, as they say. I would admire his professionalism, except he kept lowering the rickshaw for a breather. The drivers in my hometown could beat this guy in a race with one arm. But that was a thing of the past now. East Taria was my new home, or prison, more like. Mom and Dad, thank you for selling me to the temple. We love you more than anything in the world. Except for coins in her account. I bet they were spending that money on holiday. As the rickshaw drove along, I passed stallkeepers shouting out discount offers for their fruits and veggies. When one of the shopkeepers had his eyes turned, a couple of kids stole some apples from his basket. Such a thing would never happen back in West Taria. Bells hung all around the houses on Melody Way, jingling under the breeze. This must be why people call East Taria the City of Bells. The bells did sound soothing, at least for now. Give it a week and I would probably want to inhale my eardrums with a toothpick. The rickshaw slowed as we approached a building ahead. Its size dwarfed that of any other structure on Melody Way. This must be the East Tarian Temple. East Taria's symbol patterned the windows frames, as if to banish my Western origins. The driver put down his rickshaw. That will be 7 gold coins. I pulled out the purse Mom had given me for this ride. She left me 5 coins and silver ones, no less. Love you too, Mom. I avoided the driver's gaze as I showed him the purse. Should have known better than to trust West Tarians, the driver muttered. Kid, I'm taking you to the gods. The driver was right about me being a kid, but he should be an adult and let things pass. Instead, he grabbed my wrist and tried to yank me off the rickshaw. I wriggled my hand to try and break free, but to him, I probably felt about as strong as a dieting cat. If the guards locked me up, I doubt my parents would bail me out. I heard executions were legal in East Taria. The thought made my legs go numb. I met the driver's grimace with one of my own. King Locke has business with me. If you want your coins, go talk to him. Fair enough. The driver let go of me, and now it was his turn to dodge my gaze. If he troubled the king over such a trivial matter, the temple might take his head as compensation. The driver snatched away my coins as well as the purse. He pushed me off the rickshaw, mumbled a few curses, and drove away. I brushed dust off my pants in an attempt to look cool, but in truth, sweat had stained my palms despite the cold weather. I turned to face the road I had just passed. Despite all of this being my parents' fault, I still yearned to see them running after me, telling me how sorry they felt. They were, of course, nowhere in sight. I slapped my cheeks to snap out of it. Your new life started here, guy. I waded up to the temple doors, almost slipping on a rotten leaf on my way there. 2 guards stood barring the temple's entrance. Their 6-foot stature allowed them to fit inside those heavy armor. The East Taria symbol on their shoulder plates reminded me they hailed from an unfamiliar culture. I swore the ground shook as one of the guards took a step towards me. The spear in his hand made me tremble. Those capes the guards wore fluttered in the wind, but these guys looked more like villains than heroes to me. Go beg somewhere else, boy. The guard shooed me off like a fly. A chance to explain myself would have been nice. I lifted my chin at the opportunity to show him up. King Locke invited me from West Taria to serve in his temple, I said. Right. A new slave, then. Right. A new slave, then. Name? Sure. Apology accepted. Jerk. Guy. The other guard chimed in. Ah, yes, the king told us you were arriving. He's assigned you to help with looking after Miyon. He exchanged chuckles with his colleague. Sucks to be you, kid. In you go. What did we get ourselves into? I waited to see if the guards would escort me. One of them dozed off on his feet, an ability he must have picked up during his years in service. The other guard filed his nails with his spear, just as the blacksmith intended, no doubt. Excuse me. I stomped past them in an attempt to look tough, but I stepped too hard and rolled my ankle. As I limped past the front gates, I feared the guards might close them and squash me into a meat pie. I strode through the garden before doing a full lap around the courtyard. With several dozen doors around, I dared not enter a single one. I ducked under some of the lit windows in case anyone mistook me for a thief. With my head surveying back and forth, I soon bumped into a guard and fell onto my backside. The guard, still as a castle wall, tapped his spear against my chin. You picked the wrong place to rob, but I'm feeling generous, so crawl back to your little hole before I change my mind. I no longer had a hole, or whatever insult this scum wanted to hurl my way. He should just pierce my throat with that spear and be done with it. Guy, new servant. The guard clicked his tongue but lowered his spear nonetheless. Follow me. At least he had the ever so wonderful heart to offer me guidance. I climbed back onto my feet and trailed him along the corridor, keeping a distance in case he decided my attitude warranted a spanking. The guard led me into a dressing room filled with suits and dresses that might be worth more than a house. A set of crumpled clothes sat on the carpet, looking completely out of place. Smeared with dirt, they could easily pass as towels used to wipe the wooden floors. The guard snatched these rags off the carpet and shoved them into my arms. Go get changed and hurry up about it. You're already late. Well, to be fair, I never expected to receive one of those expensive suits. I had that rickshaw driver to thank for my lateness. No point in explaining myself now, though. I shuffled into a changing room in the corner and slid the curtain closed. After stripping off my clothes, I checked out these garments the guard had made me. The standard East Tarian red from top to bottom, with East Taria's symbol stitched behind the shirt. Suddenly, the curtain slid open, and I blushed upon seeing the girl standing outside. Aside from my mother, not once had anyone from the opposite gender seen me in the nude. This girl's clothes matched the ones I carried in my arms, so she too must be a servant. Those oversized pants she wore made her look about as feminine as a water barrel. Her pigtails could have looked cute, but those flies circling over her unwashed hair ruined the look. The girl's gaze lowered toward my pants, or where they would have been if I had a pair on. She let out a sigh and walked out as if I had disappointed her somehow. Was I not the victim here? I yanked the curtain back closed. The force ripped the curtain off one of its hinges. I poked my head out to see if the guard had noticed. Good thing he had his head turned, sniffing at a skirt on one of the coat hangers. I quickly slipped on my shirt and pants to avoid another intimate encounter. The shirt sleeves almost reached my fingertips, so I rolled them up and made my wrists look like springboards. I had mocked that girl's oversized pants earlier. Well, karma must be real because they looked even bigger on me. I looked as if I had balloons crammed inside my pants. A pair of shoes dropped in from under the curtains. I guess the guard had forgotten about them earlier. These shoes had bells tied on the front to couple each of my steps with a jingle. I put on my shoes, and with the single step I took to exit the dressing room, the left one came off. Cursing under my breath, I thrust my foot back into the shoe before trying to walk again. This time I dragged my shoes along the carpet to stop them from sliding off. The heels still kept popping out, but it would have to do. I returned to the guard, who hurled away the skirt he had been sniffing. He glared at me as if it was my fault he failed to keep his fetishes behind closed doors. The guard swirled around and stomped out of the dressing room. I assumed I was meant to follow him, so I did just that. The guard muttered complaints all the way to the east end of the hall. I stood before a set of doors embroidered in gold. The East Taria symbol sat in the middle, glittering under the sunlight. Whoever resided behind these doors must be a mighty important. So that ruled out any chance of this being my bedroom. The guard pointed at the doors. This is Miyon's room. Get in there and introduce yourself. Before I could ask any questions, the guard trotted off with a shudder. This Miyon character scared even a grown man? And now I must step in alone? Remind me to never send Mum or Dad any postcards. I looked down at my East Tarian garbs. If I slipped out of the temple now, I could fit into the crowd, but with no way of earning coin, I would be forced to steal food like those children I saw earlier. I reached for the doors with my trembling hands. Just as I was about to knock, I heard muffled yells coming from the other end. Something, or someone, banged against the doors from inside, making me dart back. Was Miyon inside that room? I foresaw meeting an 8-foot mammoth that dined on servants' limbs as a pastime. After whispering farewell to my arms and legs, I slid the doors open. Three bodies rolled out and crashed into my shins, making me stumble. The bodies untangled just enough for me to see a middle-aged woman with 2 guards wrestling to keep her under control. Upon spotting a knife in the woman's hand, I crawled away until my back hit the wall. The woman struggled to break free from the guard's grips. "Give me back my boy, you monster!" Oh boy. Women's voices. I followed the women's eyes to see who she was addressing. My money's on that being Miyon. A girl sat on her knees in the middle of the room. She had both hands resting on her lap as if unaware of the chaos unfolding before her. That hat she wore came attached with a veil, but she should still be able to see what was going on. The girl sat on a carpet with an East Taria symbol that almost covered the entire room. Considering the doors outside looked so fancy, this room was much smaller than I had anticipated. On the far end was a veranda with railings that reminded me of prison bars. Cabinets filled the wall on either side of the room. Their circular handles resembled eyes spying in from another dimension. The guards lifted that knife-wielding woman onto her feet. "Miyon is East Taria's treasure. By the king's orders, you're under arrest." The woman thrashed and screamed as the guards hauled her away. So, this girl must be Miyon. Judging from her height, she must be no older than 10. Around my age, in other words. Why should I be scared of some kid? I had no idea if Miyon was looking at me thanks to that veil covering her face. As I edged towards her room, smoke came out of nowhere to sting my eyes. I gazed down and spotted incense burning in front of Miyon's knees. Waving the smoke off my face, I stepped through the doors. The bells on Miyon's hat clanged as she looked up. She also had this large bell tied around her neck like a collar on a pet. Miyon tilted her head, perhaps startled by my unfamiliar face. That guard did order me to introduce myself, so I might as well. My name's Guy. Miyon slumped onto the floor. Did she finally fall unconscious from the shock earlier? Talk about a delayed reaction. I worried for Miyon's well-being, but more important, I feared for mine. If the guards thought I had harmed her in any way, well, I had a good run. Miyon opened her mouth and spoke to me for the first time. "Blankets. 3rd cabinet to the left." Oh, what? Did my introduction suck so much that you would rather go to sleep? Shaking my head, I walked up to the 3rd cabinet on the left wall. I pulled the door open and indeed found a blanket tucked inside. Even the blanket had gold patterns running along its edges. What a spoiled brat. After flicking off a worm crawling on top, I pulled out the blanket and threw it over Miyon, covering her from head to toe. "Cannot breathe," came her muffled voice. Yeah, I lowered the blanket down to her neck. Her breathing seemed steady, but with that veil on, I had no way of knowing if she had fallen asleep. whispered as a test but received no response. Really? Stupid, fat, ugly Miyon. Still nothing. She sure fell asleep fast, considering someone who tried to stab her only moments ago. As I exited the room, Miyon's voice came trailing after me. Never speak to me that way again. Oh, crap. So she did hear. I stepped out and shut the doors behind me. That knife-wielding lady from earlier had disappeared from view, replaced by a trio of servants sweeping the corridor. All three of them swung their brooms in sync, as if they had no consciousness of their own. After I introduced myself to the servants, they shared with me the daily joys of being a slave. Testing food for poison, battling venomous spiders, you name it. Watch out, world, for my future shone as brightly as the sun on a stormy night. Well then. Unfortunately, I think we're going to do a short episode since that is a pretty convenient stepping off point. So what little we've learned is our name is Guy. Hopefully not from the Naruto series, because if so, I'm not nearly doing his character justice. But we seem to be a slave since our parents sold us to the rival Taria nation. East versus West or some such. And apparently now we get to play with Miyon, who from this little teaser we kind of got, I presume is a seer? Fortune teller, future seer, something? And there's presumably going to be a bit more to her backstory than just what we have been shown so far in one quick episode. I'm curious to see how those two play with each other. Sorry. Still recovering from a cold. So, I will see you all next time for episode 2 as we dive in head first and find out just what is Guy going to do in a strange new land with no rights, no money, no abilities to do pretty much anything that he wants, since he is a servant/slave of a rival empire. And we shall see just what's the deal with this seer who took someone's kid? We'll hopefully find out why, and hopefully it's a justifiable reason. But until then, as always, check out all the other videos and shenanigans that we have been up to. We are tossing up a lot of stuff currently as we just came back from a convention, so there's more than just video games at the moment. So by all means, enjoy those. And until next time, go be creative. Go play some games. Go enjoy some stories that others have created. And go create some stories of your own and share them with others. And we will see you all next time.